Welcome to Sleepy Stories, the place where stories aren't meant to be finished. I'm Arthur, and tonight I'll be reading you a relaxing, sleepy story written by Pumby. Tonight we embark on a gentle journey beneath the velvet canopy of night, where the rhythmic pulse of wheels against steel tracks becomes your lullaby. I'm here to guide you aboard the Midnight Express, a train that carries weary souls through moonlit landscapes toward the tranquil embrace of countryside dreams. This is your guided sleep story, and together we'll travel on rails that shimmer like silver ribbons under starlight, leaving behind the weight of the day as we venture into peaceful slumber. Close your eyes and feel yourself standing on a quiet platform where the air carries the faint scent of jasmine and the distant promise of adventure. The station around you glows softly with amber lanterns that cast dancing shadows across weathered wooden benches. You can hear the gentle murmur of evening breezes rustling through nearby oak trees, their leaves whispering secrets of the night. In the distance, a low melodic horn announces the approach of your train, its sound rolling across the landscape like a gentle wave. As the train glides into view, you notice how different it appears from any ordinary locomotive. This magnificent vessel seems to be crafted from moonbeams and midnight itself, its elegant cars painted in deep blues that mirror the star-filled sky above. Windows glow with warm, honey-coloured light, inviting you to step inside and discover the comfort that awaits. The train moves with such grace and silence that it appears to float rather than roll, as though it's being carried by invisible currents of night air. You step forward, feeling the smooth texture of polished wood beneath your feet as you board this extraordinary conveyance. The conductor, a kindly figure with silver hair and eyes that twinkle like distant stars, nods warmly and gestures toward the interior. His voice carries the soothing quality of rustling leaves when he speaks, welcoming you aboard this nocturnal voyage. You notice how his uniform seems to shimmer with an otherworldly quality, as though it's woven from the very fabric of dreams. Inside the train car, you discover a world of sublime comfort and tranquility. The seats are upholstered in fabric that feels like clouds against your skin, arranged in perfect rows that face large panoramic windows. Each seat seems designed specifically for rest and contemplation, with just the right amount of cushioning to cradle your body in gentle embrace. Overhead, soft lighting mimics the glow of fireflies, creating an atmosphere of peaceful warmth that immediately begins to ease the tension from your shoulders. You settle into your chosen seat, feeling your body sink into its welcoming embrace as the train begins to move. The motion is so smooth and gentle that you barely notice the departure, only becoming aware of movement when you glance through the window and see the platform slowly sliding away. The rhythm that develops is hypnotic and soothing, a steady pulse that seems to synchronize with your own heartbeat, encouraging your breathing to deepen and slow. Through the expansive windows, the world outside transforms into a tapestry of nocturnal beauty. The train carries you away from the distant glow of city lights, moving through suburbs where houses sleep peacefully behind curtained windows. Gardens pass by like moving paintings, their flowers appearing silver and ethereal in the moonlight. You catch glimpses of cats padding silently across lawns and owls perched majestically in ancient trees, their eyes reflecting the train's gentle illumination. As the urban landscape gradually gives way to countryside, the scenery becomes increasingly enchanting. Rolling hills stretch endlessly into the distance, their gentle curves creating a horizon that seems to embrace the star-filled sky. Meadows flow past like calm seas of grass, occasionally dotted with sleeping sheep that appear as small white clouds scattered across dark fields. The moon, full and luminous, casts everything in a soft silver light that makes the entire world appear touched by magic. The train follows a winding path through this peaceful realm, occasionally crossing stone bridges that span babbling brooks. You can hear the gentle murmur of water flowing over smooth rocks, a sound that blends harmoniously with the rhythmic clicking of wheels on tracks. Sometimes the train passes through groves of willow trees, whose drooping branches create natural curtains that brush against the windows with the softest whisper. These moments feel like moving through green tunnels of dreams, where time itself seems to slow and stretch like honey. In the distance you spot a lighthouse, standing sentinel on a distant hill, its beacon rotating slowly and casting sweeping arcs of light across the landscape. The lighthouse seems to be guiding not ships but dreams themselves, offering safe passage for all who journey through the realm of sleep. Its light touches the train periodically, bathing the interior in brief moments of gentle radiance that feel like blessings from guardian angels watching over your journey. The other passengers aboard this midnight express appear to be fellow travellers seeking the same peaceful destination. They sit quietly in their seats, some gazing contemplatively out windows, while others rest with eyes closed, already beginning their descent into slumber. There's an elderly woman knitting with yarn that seems to glow softly in her hands, creating patterns that look like captured moonbeams. A young artist sketches the passing scenery in a notebook, his pencil moving with dreamy fluidity across the pages. You notice how the train's interior seems to respond to the collective need for rest and tranquility. The lighting gradually dims as the journey progresses, becoming softer and more golden with each passing mile. The temperature maintains perfect comfort, neither too warm nor too cool, creating an environment that encourages your body to relax completely. Even the air inside the train carries a subtle fragrance of night-blooming flowers and fresh countryside breezes that seems designed to promote peaceful sleep. The train's route takes you through valleys where mist rises from hidden streams, creating ethereal clouds that drift between hills like ghostly dancers. These vaporous formations catch and scatter the moonlight, creating patterns that shift and change like living artwork. Sometimes the mist is so thick that it completely surrounds the train, making you feel as though you're floating through clouds themselves, suspended between earth and sky in a realm where dreams and reality merge seamlessly. As you continue deeper into the countryside, you begin to notice how the landscape itself seems to be preparing for sleep. Flowers close their petals for the night, turning meadows into seas of gentle green, dotted with sleeping blooms. Trees sway gently in the night breeze, their movements slow and hypnotic, like the breathing of sleeping giants. Even the stars above appear to pulse with a steady rhythm that matches the train's gentle motion, as though the entire universe is synchronizing to help guide you toward peaceful rest. The train rounds a gentle curve, revealing a vista of extraordinary beauty ahead. A vast lake stretches before you, its surface so still and perfect that it mirrors the sky above with flawless precision. The reflection is so complete that it becomes impossible to tell where the water ends and the heavens begin, creating the illusion that the train is moving through space itself, surrounded by infinite stars above and below, and below. The lake's surface remains undisturbed except for the gentle wake created by moonbeams dancing across the water. Occasionally, a fish rises to catch an insect, creating perfect circles that expand outward like ripples of liquid silver, before disappearing into the mirror-like expanse. Along the shoreline, cattails stand in perfect formation, their brown seed heads catching starlight and holding it like tiny lanterns, marking the boundary between land and water. Your train follows the lake's edge for what feels like miles, offering an uninterrupted view of this natural wonder. The reflection below creates a sense of travelling through a tunnel of stars where constellations appear both above and beneath you in perfect symmetry. The gentle lapping of water against the shore provides a new layer to the symphony of sounds that accompanies your journey, blending with the rhythmic pulse of the train to create nature's own lullaby. As the train continues along the water's edge, you spot a family of deer drinking at the shore. They lift their heads gracefully as the train passes, their eyes reflecting the soft glow from the windows before they return to their peaceful midnight refreshment. Their presence adds to the sense that this journey exists in harmony with all living things, a passage through a world where humans and nature coexist in perfect tranquility. The lake gradually narrows into a meandering river that the train follows through increasingly dense woodland. Ancient trees form a canopy overhead, their branches interweaving to create a natural cathedral of leaves and starlight. Shafts of moonlight filter through gaps in the foliage, creating pools of silver illumination that shift and dance as the train moves through this enchanted forest corridor. The air grows cooler and more fragrant, carrying the rich scents of moss wildflowers and the earthy smell of forest loam. Deep within these woods, you catch glimpses of magical creatures going about their nocturnal activities. A fox trots along a parallel path, keeping pace with the train for several moments before disappearing into the underbrush with fluid grace. Fireflies blink among the trees, like tiny stars that have descended to earth, creating patterns of light that seem to pulse in rhythm with your increasingly relaxed heartbeat. The train emerges from the forest into a broad valley where cultivated fields stretch toward distant hills. Here, the countryside reveals the gentle hand of human habitation, working in harmony with natural beauty. Neat rows of crops create geometric patterns across the landscape, while farmhouses dot the valley floor like peaceful islands of warm light. Each home appears to be sleeping soundly, with only the occasional window glowing softly to suggest the presence of night owls or insomniacs finding their own path to rest. A windmill stands silhouetted against the star-filled sky, its blades turning slowly in the gentle night breeze. The structure appears ancient yet timeless, a reminder of generations who have worked this land and found peace in its rhythms. Near the windmill, a small pond reflects the sky so perfectly that it seems like a piece of heaven has fallen to earth and decided to stay. The train's path winds through this agricultural paradise, passing orchards where fruit trees stand in orderly rows like sleeping sentinels. Their branches hang heavy with the promise of harvest, and you can almost smell the sweetness of ripening apples and pears carried on the night air. Between the orchards, patches of wildflower meadows create natural gardens where night-blooming cereus and evening primrose open their petals to catch dewdrops and moonbeams. Your fellow passengers have grown increasingly peaceful as the journey progresses. The elderly woman's knitting needles move more slowly now, creating stitches that seem to capture the rhythm of the train itself. The young artist has set aside his sketch pad and leans against his window, eyes closed in peaceful contemplation. A businessman, who boarded with tension written across his features, now sits relaxed, his breathing deep and steady as the countryside works its calming magic upon his spirit. The train conductor moves through the car with quiet efficiency, dimming lights and adjusting temperature controls to maintain the perfect environment for rest. His presence is comforting rather than intrusive, like a guardian ensuring that all aboard find their way to peaceful sleep. When he passes your seat, he offers a gentle smile and a barely audible whisper that sounds like wind through wheat fields, assuring you that your destination approaches. Outside, the landscape continues to evolve as the train climbs gradually into hill country. Stone walls built by long ago farmers divide fields into a patchwork quilt of different textures and shades. Some fields lie fallow, their surfaces covered with wild grasses that wave gently in the night breeze. Others show the neat furrows of recent planting, dark earth waiting patiently for spring rain and sunshine to bring forth new growth. A church steeple appears in the distance, its bell tower reaching toward the stars like a finger pointing to heaven. Though no bells ring at this late hour, you can almost hear their phantom chimes carried on the wind, marking the passage of peaceful hours in this timeless countryside. The church sits surrounded by a small village where cottages huddle together like old friends sharing secrets under the watchful gaze of ancient oak trees. The train passes through this village so quietly that not even the sleeping dogs stir in their yards. Street lamps cast pools of amber light along empty lanes, while flower boxes beneath cottage windows overflow with night-blooming jasmine and honeysuckle. The air grows thick with their perfume, adding another layer of sensory comfort to your journey toward rest. As the village fades behind you, the train enters a region of gentle moorland, where heather and gorse create a carpet of muted colours beneath the starlight. Rolling hills stretch endlessly in all directions, their rounded forms soft and maternal against the night sky. Here and there, standing stones mark ancient pathways, their weathered surfaces holding memories of countless generations who walked these lands before finding their own eternal rest. The moon has travelled across the sky during your journey, now hanging lower toward the western horizon, but still casting its beneficent light across this peaceful realm. Its glow seems warmer now, more golden than silver, as though it too is preparing for rest as dawn approaches somewhere in the distant future. The train begins to slow as it approaches a particularly enchanting stretch of countryside, where ancient stone circles stand like sleeping giants in moonlit meadows. These mysterious monuments cast long shadows across the grass, their weathered surfaces telling stories of civilizations that found peace in this very landscape thousands of years ago. The sight of these timeless sentinels creates a profound sense of continuity, connecting your journey to countless others who have sought rest and renewal in this sacred place. Your breathing has naturally synchronized with the train's gentle rhythm, each inhalation drawing in the cool, sweet air that flows through slightly opened windows. The oxygen carries traces of night-blooming flowers and fresh dew, filling your lungs with the essence of countryside tranquility. With each exhale, you release more of the day's accumulated stress, feeling your muscles relax deeper into the plush seating that cradles your increasingly peaceful form. The train curves around a hillside crowned with a grove of ancient beech trees, their smooth grey trunks gleaming like marble columns in the moonlight. Beneath their spreading canopy, you glimpse the ruins of an old manor house, its ivy-covered walls and empty windows speaking of gentler times when life moved at nature's own unhurried pace. Gardens that once bloomed with carefully tended roses have returned to wildness, creating romantic tangles of climbing vines and self-seeded flowers that seem more beautiful in their abandonment than they ever were under human care. A small cemetery appears beside the manor ruins, its weathered headstones tilted at gentle angles, like old friends leaning together in eternal conversation. Rather than seeming morbid, this resting place radiates profound peace, its occupants having long ago found the ultimate tranquility that your own journey seeks to emulate. Wildflowers grow between the graves, and a family of rabbits grazes peacefully among the monuments, their presence adding life and continuity to this sacred space. The train crosses a series of small stone bridges that span babbling brooks, each waterway adding its voice to the symphony of night sounds that accompanies your passage. The water flows with unhurried persistence, following paths carved over countless centuries as it winds toward distant seas. Fish occasionally break the surface to catch insects, creating gentle splashes that echo softly in the still air before being absorbed by the greater silence of the sleeping countryside. Your eyelids grow heavier with each passing mile, the weight of approaching sleep settling over you like a warm blanket woven from starlight and dreams. The other passengers have largely succumbed to slumber, their quiet breathing adding to the peaceful atmosphere within the train car. The elderly woman's knitting rests in her lap, her needle still at last, while the young artist sleeps with his head against the window, a gentle smile playing across his lips as he dreams of the beautiful scenes he has witnessed. The conductor continues his quiet rounds, now moving with the fluid grace of someone who has made this journey countless times before. His presence becomes almost ghostly, a benevolent spirit ensuring that all aboard find their way to rest. When he adjusts your seat to its most comfortable position, and places a soft blanket over your shoulders. His touch is so gentle that you barely register it, like the caress of a night breeze or the blessing of moonbeams. The landscape outside transitions into a region of soft hills covered with lavender fields, though the purple blooms are closed for the night, their fragrance still perfuming the air with soothing aromatherapy that promotes deep, restful sleep. The orderly rows of plants create hypnotic patterns that flow past your window like visual meditation, each line perfectly parallel to the next in an infinity of peaceful repetition that encourages your mind to release its grip on conscious thought. A shepherd's hut sits alone on a distant hilltop, its single window glowing warmly in the darkness. You imagine the solitary occupant inside, perhaps an old man who has spent his life tending flocks and watching over this peaceful valley. His presence adds a sense of protection to the landscape, as though guardians are stationed throughout this realm to ensure that all who pass through find the rest they seek. The train descends into a valley where a meandering stream creates natural pools that reflect the star-filled sky. Weeping willows line the banks, their drooping branches trailing in the water like the flowing hair of sleeping water nymphs. The scene possesses an otherworldly quality, as though you've entered a realm where fairy tales come to life, and magic flows as naturally as the babbling brook itself. Your head begins to rest against the window, the cool glass providing a gentle anchor point as consciousness starts to drift between waking and sleeping. The steady rhythm of wheels on tracks has become so much a part of your being that you no longer hear it as external sound, but feel it as the natural pulse of this peaceful world you have entered. Your heartbeat has slowed to match this rhythm, creating perfect synchronization between your body and the train's gentle movement. The moon continues its stately progress across the star-filled dome above, casting shifting patterns of light and shadow that dance across the interior of the train car. These moving illuminations create a natural light show that plays behind your increasingly heavy eyelids, transforming into dreamlike visions of floating through clouds of a silver and gold. The boundary between the external journey and your internal voyage towards sleep becomes increasingly blurred. A lighthouse appears on a distant coastal headland, its beams sweeping across the landscape in slow hypnotic arcs that seem timed to the rhythm of deep breathing. Though the ocean remains hidden beyond rolling hills, the lighthouse's presence suggests that your train follows ancient pathways that connect all the peaceful places of the earth. Its light touches the train periodically, blessing your journey with brief moments of golden illumination that feel like benedictions from celestial guardians. The train enters a stretch of countryside where ancient oak groves create natural cathedrals, their massive trunks supporting canopies that filter starlight into intricate patterns on the forest floor. These trees have witnessed centuries of seasons, their rings holding the memories of countless springs, summers, autumns, and winters in perfect, patient record. Their presence emanates a profound sense of timelessness that helps your mind release its attachment to the urgent concerns of daily life. Small clearings within the oak groves reveal meadows where deer graze peacefully, their movements graceful and unhurried as they feed on night-cooled grass. When they lift their heads to watch the train pass, their eyes reflect not alarm, but gentle curiosity, as though they recognize this midnight express as a benevolent presence that brings no disturbance to their tranquil world. Their acceptance creates a sense of belonging, assuring you that you too are welcome in this realm of natural peace. The train's route follows an ancient Roman road for several miles, the original stone paving still visible beneath centuries of accumulated earth and vegetation. This connection to history adds depth to your journey, linking your passage to countless travellers who have sought rest and renewal along these same pathways. The road leads through a landscape that seems unchanged by the passage of time, where the same hills and streams have offered solace to weary souls for millennia. A series of standing stones appears alongside the track, their weathered surfaces carved with symbols that speak of humanity's eternal search for meaning and peace. These monuments mark sacred sites where ancient peoples gathered to celebrate the changing seasons and honour the eternal cycles of life, death, and renewal. Their presence transforms the surrounding countryside into a vast outdoor cathedral, where every tree, stream, and meadow becomes an altar dedicated to the divine mystery of existence. Your breathing has become so deep and regular that it seems to merge with the rhythm of the train, creating a meditation in motion that carries you steadily toward the borderland between waking and sleeping. The gentle swaying of the car rocks you like a cradle, while the soft sounds of the countryside blend into a natural lullaby that grows more soothing with each passing mile. Your body has released all tension, melting into the comfortable seating like snow melting into spring air. The stars above seem closer now, as though the train's elevation has brought you nearer to the celestial realm where dreams are born. Constellations wheel slowly overhead in their eternal dance, their patterns telling stories of heroes and gods who found their own rest among the stars after lives of noble struggle. Their light feels warmer and more personal, as though each star is a guardian angel watching over your peaceful passage through this enchanted night. The train rounds another gentle curve, revealing ahead a magnificent sight that seems drawn from the pages of an ancient storybook. A castle sits perched upon a distant hill, its towers and battlements silhouetted against the star-studded sky like a crown of stone reaching toward heaven. Though centuries old, the structure radiates not menace but profound tranquility, its windows glowing with warm amber light that suggests peaceful inhabitants enjoying the same restful night that embraces your journey. Ivy climbs its walls in graceful patterns, softening the ancient stonework and creating living tapestries that dance gently in the night breeze. Gardens surround the castle in terraced levels that cascade down the hillside like frozen waterfalls of cultivated beauty. Even in the moonlight, you can discern the careful arrangement of hedgerows, flower beds, and ornamental trees that speak of generations devoted to creating harmony between human artistry and natural splendour. A maze of perfectly trimmed boxwood creates intricate patterns that seem to mirror the constellations above, while fountains send gentle sprays of water into basins where the reflected stars appear to swim like celestial fish. The sight of this peaceful fortress fills you with a deep sense of security and protection. This is not a place of war or conflict, but a sanctuary where souls have found refuge throughout the ages. Its presence along your route feels providential, as though the train follows pathways blessed by centuries of pilgrims seeking the same rest and renewal that draws you ever deeper into slumber. The castle's towers stand as sentinels watching over the countryside, ensuring that all who pass beneath their gaze find safe passage to their desired destination. Your train begins a gradual descent into a valley where countless streams converge to form a larger river that winds like a silver serpent through meadows dotted with sleeping cattle. These gentle bovines rest in peaceful groups, their forms appearing as dark islands of contentment scattered across seas of moon-silvered grass. Their presence adds to the pastoral perfection of the scene, creating a living tableau that speaks of harmony between all creatures who call this blessed countryside home. Wooden bridges span the smaller waterways, their weathered planks gleaming like old pewter in the starlight. Each crossing reveals new vistas of bucolic beauty, where wildflower meadows stretch toward horizons that seem infinitely distant, yet somehow intimately close. The flowers themselves appear to glow with inner light, their petals catching and holding moonbeams, like tiny chalices filled with liquid starlight. Night blooming cereus and evening primrose open their faces to the sky, adding their perfume to the increasingly intoxicating blend of fragrances that flows through your train car. The conductor appears once more at your side, his movements now so fluid and graceful that he seems to float rather than walk. His presence brings with it a profound sense of approaching arrival, though not at any earthly destination. Instead, you understand instinctively that your journey nears its transition from the physical landscape outside to the infinite realms of sleep and dreams within. You adjust your blanket with fingers that feel like whispers of warm wind, ensuring your complete comfort as the final miles of conscious travel pass beneath the train's gentle wheels. Through increasingly heavy eyelids, you observe how the landscape itself seems to be settling into deeper rest. Trees droop their branches lower, as though bowing in reverence to the approaching dawn that still lies hours in the future. Streams flow more quietly, their murmuring voices soften to the barest whisper of water over stone. Even the wind moves with greater gentleness, caressing the countryside with touches so soft they barely stir the grass or rustle the leaves of sleeping trees. A monastery appears nestled in a grove of ancient cedars, its bell tower reaching skyward with humble dignity rather than imposing grandeur. The building emanates profound peace, its walls having absorbed centuries of prayer and meditation, until the very stones seem to radiate tranquility. Gardens surrounding the monastery follow the natural contours of the land, creating spaces where contemplation flows as naturally as the streams that water the carefully tended vegetables and herbs. The sight of this holy place adds a spiritual dimension to your journey, suggesting that the path towards sleep leads through sacred territory where body and soul alike find restoration. Your fellow passengers have all surrendered to slumber now, their breathing creating a gentle symphony of rest that blends harmoniously with the train's rhythmic pulse. The elderly woman sleeps with her knitting still in her lap, her face peaceful as a child's, while the young artist dreams with his sketchbook pressed against his chest like a talisman. The businessman, who boarded with worry etched in his features, now wears an expression of perfect serenity, his troubles dissolved by the healing power of this midnight passage through paradise. The train crosses a viaduct that spans a deep valley filled with mist, creating the sensation of floating through clouds while remaining firmly grounded on rails of silver steel. Below, the fog swirls in patterns that suggest hidden wonders, perhaps entire worlds of dreams waiting to be explored once your conscious mind releases its final hold on waking awareness. The mist rises around the train, like gentle embraces from spirits of sleep, welcoming you into their ethereal realm, where time moves differently and healing comes as naturally as breathing. Ancient stone circles appear with increasing frequency now, their weathered monoliths standing like doorways between the world of waking and the infinite landscapes of slumber. Each circle seems to mark another milestone on your journey inward, another step closer to the complete rest that your body and soul have been seeking since the moment you stepped aboard this magnificent conveyance. The stones themselves appear to pulse with inner light, as though they serve as beacons guiding travellers safely through the transition from consciousness to dreams. A small chapel sits beside a holy well, its simple architecture speaking of faith sustained through countless generations of country folk who found solace in its humble sanctuary. Candles flicker in the windows, their flames dancing like prayers made visible, while the well's surface reflects stars with such clarity that it seems to contain a piece of heaven itself. Pilgrims have visited this sacred spring for centuries, seeking healing waters that restore both body and spirit, and their accumulated devotion has sanctified the very ground upon which your train now passes. The air grows thicker with the perfume of night-blooming flowers as the train enters a region where entire hillsides are carpeted with jasmine and honeysuckle. These climbing vines have claimed ancient walls and abandoned cottages, transforming ruins into fairy tale gardens where beauty flourishes without human tending. The fragrance is so intense it seems almost visible, creating aromatic clouds that drift through your train car and settle over you like blankets woven from concentrated peace. Your body has achieved perfect relaxation now, every muscle released from the day's accumulated tension and surrendered to the train's gentle embrace. Your breathing matches not only the rhythm of wheels on track, but also the deeper pulse of the sleeping countryside itself, as though you have become part of the very landscape through which you travel. Consciousness flickers like a candle flame in gentle wind, moments of awareness alternating with deeper states where the boundary between self and surroundings dissolves completely. As your train glides gently toward its final destination, you feel yourself crossing that gossamer threshold where waking ends and dreams begin. The rhythmic lullaby of wheels on track fades into the deeper silence of complete rest, while the countryside outside dissolves into the infinite landscapes of sleep. Your breathing deepens into the natural rhythm of profound slumber, carrying you on currents of starlight towards shores of peaceful dreams. Let the gentle motion of this midnight express rock you into the deepest, most restorative sleep, knowing that when you wake, you will carry within you the tranquil beauty of this starlit journey through countryside eternal.